Hello everyone and welcome back to a T-38 instructional video. Today we'll be riding in the back of the T-38, but most of the functions can be completed from the front just as easily. So let's go ahead and jump in. To start off, let's talk about some VOR navigation. So let's go ahead and find a VOR. We can use the tablet in game for this. And what I'm going to do is go back, then find a nearby VOR. This one will do. Let's go down to more info, frequencies, and there it is, 116.85. We can type that in right here in our UFCP. There we go. And looks like we're getting a good reading on this VOR, so let's go ahead and turn to head to this VOR. So notice that the course is pointing to the north, but the bearing pointer is over here. We're going to fly to the bearing pointer. The bearing pointer indicates where exactly from our position the VOR is located. Do not confuse this with CDI. We can adjust the CDI by using this course knob here. If you line the two up, that will give you a pretty much direct to flight. So now I'm on course and on the bearing. If we keep flying this inbound, we'll get to our station. The to flag is shown here. Let's go and reposition ourselves so that we're a little bit more offset. Now that we're offset, if we go set, course, and course, that actually aligns our course to our current heading. If I point back towards my bearing pointer and double tap our course, there we go. Now we're going direct to the VOR. If I want to track outbound, all I have to do is reverse my course and track that line outbound. Let's go ahead and rotate my course outbound as well. There's the front flag that popped up. So if I keep cruising this way, eventually I will intercept the outbound radial for that course. So let's switch to TACAN now. So in order to do this, just change our nav source to TACAN. TACAN works pretty much exactly the same as VORs in every manner. The only difference is that we have some XY functionality. Let's go ahead and try that out. I can change the mode by hitting UR2 and typing in a different mode like Yankee. I can switch it back by doing the same with X-ray. I can also change the entire frequency by typing in the number and hitting the mode. Same thing, let's go and switch this back now. Perfect. And there she is, back on course. Alright, let's go ahead and get our ILS ready. We're going to be shooting an ILS back into Shepherd Air Force Base. So to load the ILS, I'm going to go ahead and open up my ILS right here through our nav selection. And now, we have to get the frequency for this. Right now, that currently is not the correct frequency, so we're going to have to pull that up. Alright, and frequencies, we have 109.7, so we'll type that in here. And there we go, we have a good indication for our ILS approach. Let's go and position ourselves for this approach. Alright, we are in position in the weather, and we're going to fly this ILS approach down to minimums. Let's also turn on our flight director. Now, we're going to need some guidance for our turns, climbs, and descents. Let's go and set our altitude warning. We're going to set this for 200 AGL for our ILS minimums. Perfect. Now, all I gotta do is fly our flight directors all the way down to the runway. Okay, our radar altimeter says that we are about 1,000 feet, so about 800 feet to descend. 100 above, continuing down. It's getting really sensitive down here. There's the altitude alarm. We'll look outside and adjust our landing here. Let's go and go around though. For our next approach, let's go ahead and load up the SCA approach for the opposite runway. The SCA approach is loaded from our manager, so you're going to have to load that in before you start the flight. I can check on the approach page to see if it's loaded, which looks like there is approach data loaded. So now all I have to do is change our mode, turn on approach mode, and let's go to SCA and turn that on. Now I'm going to go and use my HSD to visualize our flight path here, and let's go down to 30. The circle is actually going to help guide us to the approach, so if I turn my zoom down, I can see a little bit better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly to the outside of the circle to help line me up for this approach. Once we are on the circle, we just need to maintain a continuous radius around this turn. And as we are approaching our inbound, I'm going to go and switch it to PFR just to give myself a little bit more guidance. Let's go ahead and hop into the front seat for this one. So on our HUD, we have a few different cues that we can use. We have our glide path as well as our CDI. If this course line is to our left, that just means that the course is to our left and we're too far to the right. If the glide slope bar is above us, that means that the glide slope is above us and we're too low. And for SCAs, we have a nice little landing marker here that we can use for reference, so now it's just small corrections all the way down to the runway. Again, we're going to use 200 feet for our missed approach. Being in the French seat, this should be a little bit easier for us to see the runway. All right, and as we continue down, we just broke through the weather. We have the runway in sight. We could transition to fly this visual, or we continue this approach and fly it like this. Okay, let's talk about some Iggy navigation. This is actually my favorite way to navigate. It's kind of like using our GPS cheating in a way. So let's go ahead and we'll set ourselves a waypoint today. How we load that is that we just go to our UFCP UR1 and type in a waypoint, such as KLTS. All we have to do is go to the bearing pointer. Also notice, if we enter a point into our Iggy and press enter, it's going to automatically direct to and line our CDI to that point. So all then we have to do is turn to it and fly towards it, and we're on course. Let's see, if my course was off-center like this, I could adjust it via the course rocker. Perfect. Now we're on course again. Additionally, if I were to offset myself manually, let's go and put ourselves a few degrees off. Looks like we're a little bit deflected. So if we want to center that up, we have two options. One, we can intercept our course and fly inbound. Two, we align ourselves to the bearing pointer, which is direct to the point, and go to our set page, and we'll double tap UR2, and perfect. I'll send it up again. All right, let's do a flight plan mode. Let's enter flight plan 1, and now let's activate our navigation via waypoint 1. Okay, flight plan 1, waypoint 1. This flight plan is going to take us out to the MOA, so we're going to align ourselves for that. Let's turn on navigation via our waypoints. Waypoint 2 selected, and there's waypoint 3. To go to waypoint 3, again, all we have to do is just point our aircraft towards that point. If we want to go direct to, it's as easy as going to our set page and hitting UR2 twice. So now we're going to go direct to that point on the flight plan. If we wanted to go to our original navigation to that waypoint, then you toggle down to a previous waypoint and set it back up. There we go, and now we're going back via our original course. Let's try a new method. Let's try our mark points. So our mark point is going to set our location at our current position. We can use this to remember points for later or to help us remember a certain spot. So what we have to do is when you press the mark button and then press it again, that saved destination 605 as our present position. Now I can go direct to 605 via our Iggy. And it looks like on our right side, we can see that the distance is counting away from the point. And on our HSD, we can also see that it's marked 605. Well, I hope this helped everyone navigate in the T-38C. In the upcoming tutorials, we will go into some of the weapon systems of the T-38C.